Here we are once again, an all too familiar story of poor performance and a heavy defeat.
No, it's not easy to say something apart from it's the darkest day I've had leading these players.
We have better players than we have if you look at it in total. There will be a rebuild for sure.
I trust my players, and I trust my players to give good performances and get the best results, and they have shown it so many times.
Boom! Welcome back to Red Devils Redemption. I'm your host, Miles Aronson, and this is the first video podcast that I am producing for Red Devils Redemption. This will be hosted on YouTube, which is where you're probably watching this now, but you can also listen to my audio podcasts on Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcast. Well, this is the first episode of Red Devils Redemption from the new year with the new season. You know, first off, I think it's important to talk about the signings that we made over the summer. And maybe just like a 4 minute preview of what the hell happened during preseason, because I don't know what happened during preseason. I mean, I watched it. I don't know what I watched, to be honest. I don't know what that was. It was shambolic. It was disgusting and did not give me hope for the start of the Premier League. And by looking at our last couple games in the start of the Premier League, I seem to be right. So let's talk about it. In the preseason, you know, United looked like a decently okay team coming off the back of an FA Cup final, not winning it, of course, but getting to the final, and then coming off the back of a third place position in the Premier League, which, you know, secures Champions League. And, you know, for the first season with a new manager and some new signings, I take that season as a win. Last year was a huge win. There was a lot of other managers that came into the position and couldn't do as well as Erik ten Hag has done this last season. So, you know, I'm excited for the future. There's a lot of things that still need to be done. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step back is always the case for United, I think. So we'll talk about some of the summer signings we made. It was crucial that we signed a goalkeeper that had the play style that Ten Hag wanted to play. You know, we had David De Gea, who, again, I will always say this, David De Gea can save the goddamn Titanic, okay? He has been a Man United legend thick and through. You know, this guy saved us from so many games where we probably should have lost last year, but didn't because of him. You know, he won a bunch of man of the matches, you know, great performances last year. And the way we treated him without A, not giving him a new contract, B, not telling him we wanted to continue with him, C, not helping him find another club, like D, not trading him, you know, we kind of just screwed him over. You know, we let his contract run out. And then the front office of United just said, all right, bye. And he's gone. He left. No proper farewell. No proper goodbye. You know, an Instagram post with his teammates commenting under it. That's the best he got, which I think is very sad because he is a Man United legend. Always has been, always will. He's been us for almost freaking 10 years. He's made his mark at this club as a top goalie, and I'm surprised to this day. I mean, it's August today, August 26th. The transfer window's about to slam shut pretty soon. I'm surprised no teams have picked him up because he's just sitting there as a free agent right now. But anyways, unfortunate situation with David De Gea leaving the club, not renewing his contract, yada, 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 needing to sign a goalkeeper that works with our system. In comes Andre Onana, who I think has been an incredible signing for us. You know, he's let a couple cheap goals go in at the start of this season, you know, especially in preseason. Getting chipped from the halfway line is never a good look. When you started with a new club, playing in your new ground for the first time. So you could probably feel a little bit of secondhand embarrassment from Onana there during that preseason game where he got chipped. But hey, it's all right. That's what preseason's there for. The games don't count. You know, it counts when we get to the league. So let's focus on good performances in the league, Onana. And I believe he's the keeper that'll do that. You know, he's great with distribution, which is exactly what we need. You know, every time you see him, whenever he collects a ball, collects a shot, collects a cross, he's grabbing that ball and he's actively looking forward to go through and find feet, roll the ball out to somebody, side volley the ball all the way up the field to Rashford. I mean, there's games, the game against Wolves, he did that. Great ball into Rashford. Rashford just couldn't finish the chance. But he's been doing that for us at the start of the season, so I'm very happy to have Andre Onana into the squad. Now, I have heard rumors that the Cameroon national team is looking to bring him back after he retired from international football. And, if that's the case, he'll be gone for a couple games in September, which is kind of why I'm hoping that we don't give away Dean Henderson and we keep Dean Henderson as a backup because, Dean's our guy, man. Dean has been with us, kind of like De Gea. And I think if Onana has international football that, he goes off to, we're going to need a backup goalie, and Dean Henderson will slide right in there perfectly. So I really hope we don't trade Dean Henderson. The next signing I'm going to talk about, there's not a lot of movement in the defense. United are still waiting on a bunch of outgoing players. We're waiting for Harry Maguire to go out. Most likely, we're trying to wait for Eric Bailly to go out, but these guys are quote-unquote unsellable. Like West Ham put in a bid for Harry Maguire, but absolutely shot down for I don't know what reason. I don't know why we're doing that. Just get this guy out of the club. Come on. So no big moves in the defensive part of the team. Recently we do have a couple of injuries. Tyrell Malacia is injured right now, as well as Luke Shaw. A couple bad knocks for us. So I think United are looking into the transfer market before the window shuts and looking to buy a left back, or maybe loan a left back who can come into this team, which is where I say I want Benjamin Pavard. Bring him in. He has said he wants United. United need him. Bring him in on a loan or buy the guy for $30 million. You have the money. So other than that, no changes in the defense. I think there should be changes, especially outgoing changes. I think players need to go so we have room for players to come in. But so far, everything's still set in stone over there. In the midfield, Donny van de Beek, again, he's still with us. Had a decent preseason, if that's what you want to call it. Scored 1 goal. Had a couple decent performances. But it's just, Donny van de Beek has never been able to break into the first team roster. And it's tough to see. It's tough to see. He just continues to sit on our bench. If even he gets to the bench, he's not getting any opportunities here. And I think either a loan or a transfer away is best for Donny van de Beek. But a transfer in to the midfield, Mason Mount from Chelsea for around 75-80 million, which in my professional opinion, watching the Premier League, watching Chelsea, watching the England national team, Mason Mount is all right. He's not the player we were looking for in the midfield. Not at all. He's injured right now. He picked up a knock against Tottenham, and so now he's out for a couple of weeks, hence 2 months. And I hate to be taking digs here, but I think that's some of the better news United fans have heard in a while is Mount being injured because of the bad performances he has shown us in these opening 2 Premier League games. So Mason Mount's into the team. Also, speaking about Mason Mount, unfortunately, he did take the number 7 from Ronnie Ronaldo. I wish he didn't take the number 7 because I was praying, I was hoping that when United gave Alejandro Garnacho a new contract, they would slap the number 7 on the back of his jersey because that's what he wants. It's what he's been working for. Garnacho deserves that number 7 jersey, not Mason Mount. Mason Mount has done nothing to prove that he earns and belongs that number 7 jersey. That number 7 jersey holds a lot of weight. And yes, it may be too soon to give it to young Alejandro Garnacho, but to give it to Mason Mount and then to see underwhelming performances like Wolves, like Tottenham, and be like, why did we sign this guy? And I know the jersey number isn't that big of a deal to most people, but the number 7 is a significant number in United history. And I don't think Mason Mount deserves that number. I think it probably should have been left vacant. And when Garnacho is ready, Garnacho gets that shirt. That's just my opinion. Obviously, that's not what happened. But again, that's just my opinion. So with Mason Mount being out, it kind of leaves our midfield, again, very, very light, very skim. We only have Eriksen, Casemiro, Bruno, Scotty. That's about it. We sold Fred. Fred's no longer here. He's in Fenerbahce. We're not playing Hannibal. We're not playing Kobe. Kobe's actually hurt as well alongside Mason. So, It doesn't really help that we're a midfield man down, basically. We're playing Eriksson, Casemiro, and Fernandez, and we have no subs for them other than Scott McTominay, which is going to have to do until, A, we sign Amrabat, which I think from Fiorentina, which I think we have to do. He's going to put competition with Casemiro in that center defensive mid role, which is what we really need. We don't need attacker center mids. We need holding center mids that can link our defense and strikers together. Casemiro does that perfectly. Amrabat will do that perfectly. Right now he's under contract at Fiorentina, but he's actually not training with the first team. He's not traveling with the first team. He's waiting until the end of the transfer window, which I can only assume he's sitting there back at his home in Italy waiting for a goddamn offer from United to come in. And as soon as that offer comes in, regardless of what it's going to be, he's going to put the pen to the paper. So this is a call to the United front office. I'm looking at you right now. Put in an offer for Amrabat. Get him in the team right now. Get it done. So that's our midfield sorted out. And then we talk about our strikers. And, we have Anthony Martial, who is always injury prone, but, he's going to do whatever he's going to do. We're going to have to play him through the midfield or through the middle of the striker position now, because if we play Rashford at the striker position instead of the left wing position, then we're not going to win. If Rashford is playing as the striker instead of the left wing, we're not going to win. Rashford is clinical, and he's aggressive, and he'll take defenders on from the wing. But when you play him in the striker role, he loses a certain level of mobility around defenders, and he won't be able to produce as many opportunities as he would as if he was on the left wing, just driving the ball and then putting cutback crosses in, or driving the ball, doing his scissors moves, and then cutting in and shooting. That's what Rashford is known for. Rashford is not known as a striker. Yes, he scores goals. Because he scores goals, it's on the left wing. It's him cutting in and making big plays. Him and Bruno linking up and making big plays. Him as the striker role, going down the middle of our offense, is not it. That's not it. So that's why as of now, we're using Anthony Martial as our number 9. But we did go into the transfer market and spend a little bit of a penny for Rasmus Højlund, the Denmark international striker. He's still a young kid, to be honest. And, he came to us with a little bit of an injury, so he's been working through that. Hasn't yet to play at Old Trafford, hasn't yet to put on the jersey and play in an official match. But he is cleared to be training with the first team as of 2-3 days ago. And he will be in the lineup, whether it's a sub or a starter, in the next game against Arsenal for United, which I think is going to be huge. We're going to put Rashford on the left, Højlund up top, and either Anthony or Sancho or Garnacho on the right. We have a lot of options there. And those players, just like I mentioned, you have a Sancho who's been performing decently. You have an Anthony who, the game today against Nottingham Forest was actually really good. So I'll give him that. There's a couple instances where these strikers are going to be very interchangeable. And I think that's what United need, because we've been lacking on the attacking front recently. To be honest, I don't know how much of an impact Højlund is going to make right away. I don't think he's going to be Edison Cavani type level. I don't think he's going to be Wayne Rooney-esque, Ronaldo-esque this first season. You got to give this boy time. He's going to need at least a season. And if I had to throw a prediction out here now, 8 goals for Rasmus Højlund this year for United. That's my prediction. 8 goals, all comps. And I hope that you see the development in Højlund that we have seen the development in Rashford. Rashford goes from 5 goals a season to 8 goals a season to 15 goals a season to 22 goals a season to 25 goals a season. He's only getting better, and I hope United fans just are calm and are patient and let our players train and understand the system that Ten Hag is trying to implement, and give him time. If you don't give him time and you just get on his back after the first game he plays and says, why the hell did we sign this guy? He's not worth it. Then what are you doing? We just got him. This is his first match. Let the kid relax. Let the kid soak in the environment, soak in the atmosphere, and let the kid try to do his best. He hasn't even played for us. So calm down and let him work. Let him cook. now that we've talked about, the state of the squad for this 2023 season, I think it's time we talk about the performances we've had recently. I'm always excited for the start of the Premier League. I think the Premier League is top tier in terms of football leagues in the world. I think, you Premier League, Serie A, La Liga, top three is right there, always fighting for 2 and 3 with La Liga and Serie A, but Premier League, I think, is always a step above. I think there's just a different intensity, a different level to these squads. I mean, everybody that plays is so intense. You can see it from today's game. United going down. United are the better team on paper. United are always the better team on paper unless you're coming up against City or like Arsenal. So when we come against Nottingham Forest, we're the better team on paper. So it shocks you, it surprises you when you watch games like this morning, and United are 2-0 down after 4 fucking minutes. God, I haven't even had time to hit record. It's 7:05. And freaking Nottingham Forest are up 1-0 already. I didn't even have time to record my reaction to the first goal. What the hell is Dallo doing, fouling him right there? It's such an obvious foul, brother. What are you doing? It's 7:05 in the morning. United are already down 1-0. It's the third freaking minute. This is an opportunity for Nottingham Forest. Gibbs White about to take a free kick. Not even a minute in, United gets scored against. It's unbelievable. Here comes the free kick from Gibbs. Good ball in the box. And fuck! It's not even 4 minutes and we're down 2-0. What the hell? We're down 2-0 in the 4th minute. What is this? Like, what the hell? This just brings PTSD flashbacks of us playing Brentford last year in our disgusting yellow jerseys. But anyways, getting off track, now getting back on track, talking about the performances. I love opening days in the Premier League, and Wolves are a tough team to play. Wolves are always a tough team to play. So with that saying, opening match day, just barely scraping away with a 1-0 win. A Varane header in the 75th, 76th minute. Just barely scraping the edge of the barrel, getting us through that game, getting us the 3 points, which were crucial to start the league. But an awful performance. And in a game where I think I speak for a lot of United fans, and from what I've heard already, we should have lost to Wolves. We should have lost. We should have lost 2-1, 2-0. Any score, we should have lost. It was performances like that just gave me flashbacks to Liverpool games, gave me flashbacks to City games last year. I was like, dang, if we're going to put performances in like this, it's going to be a more rough year than it was last year. We're going to struggle. And United have a history of struggling early on in the Prem. Hence, a bad performance to Wolves, and then to follow it up the next week, a shambolic, and I've said that word before, but I love that word because I say it so often with United. A shambolic performance against Tottenham. Like, you put 11 people out there, put them on with blindfolds, and they probably would have played better than United did against Tottenham last week. That game was just embarrassing to watch. Tottenham dominated us, and honestly, I wouldn't say it was Tottenham dominating us. United looked terrible, and Tottenham looked decent. So it was two teams who both were not looking good, but one was better than the other, and it was obvious. And the one that was better than the other took advantage of that. Sarr scored. It was 0-0 at half, and then Sarr scoring in the 49th minute for Tottenham, who was just controlling their midfield. Absolutely insane to watch Sarr dance around our midfielders like Fernandes and Eriksen and Casemiro. This guy, quote-unquote, unheard of, but not really, just dancing around our midfield like they're not there. Like, where was our midfield against Tottenham? Non-existent. It's because Mason Mount hasn't figured out how to properly work well with Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro. Casemiro's sitting, and Bruno and Mount are just gone. They're gone. They're not there in the midfield. They're doing their own thing in the attack and barely, maybe once in a blue moon, get back to help on defense. So that just kind of justifies why I don't think Mount was a good signing for us, and I don't know why. Well, I don't know why, but I don't think he's going to fit well into our system until he figures a different play style, or we play him out wide on the wing, or something else like that. I just don't see Mount fitting well into our midfield. And it was evident by the first two games that United just looked terrible. Again, I'm going to say it again. United looked shambolic in those first 2 games. Tottenham were the better team, and Tottenham deserved the 3 points. There was no reaction from the Wolves game. There was no change in play. Rashford needed to be on the left, but we continued the theme of playing him central and didn't lead us to any goals. Imagine that, right? So, again, a shambolic performance against Tottenham. Tottenham deserved the win. But, hey, that's football, and that's what happens, If you come into a game lackluster and not willing to show some get back after the last game, then you're going to get beat. And they got beat. And last but not least, the third game in the Premier League, United, 3 points, 2 games, looking decent. Not as bad as our 4-0 loss to Brentford last year in the start of the Premier League. But, again, not great. We should have beat Wolves more convincingly, but we didn't. And we should have beat Tottenham, but we didn't. And I'm not saying we should have beat Tottenham on the day. No. But on paper, United should never freaking lose to Tottenham. Never. But we did. And we deserved to lose, which I'm going to take it to the chest and say, hey, United were shit. We played shit. That's that. We deserve to lose. Again, I needed to see a reaction in today's game. Today is Saturday, August 26th. Big game against Nottingham Forest. And of course, you look at the paper, you look at the 2 teams. Obviously, you're saying to yourself, damn, if United don't get away with this game with a result, with 3 points, with a decent playing result, then you start to look at, what are we doing wrong? Why aren't the players understanding the tactics? A, are the tactics wrong, or is it B, the players aren't doing what the manager is asking? Which has been a case for United players for a long time. A lot of critics, a lot of pundits saying that there's a lot of players in this United squad that still don't deserve to play for that badge right there. And I agree. They don't put in 100% effort every game day. You see lackluster performances here and there on the pitch. That's not acceptable if you're an United player. United players are here to fight for trophies, fight for first place, fight for the FA Cup, and fight for the Champions League. And if we're putting in bad performances through the league, then we're not going to do that. You got to start looking at the manager, unfortunately. And I don't think Ten Hag's doing anything wrong. I think it's more of the players and the mindset and the attitudes they have going into games and the reactions to going down in games. A 1-0. It's like, we'll use today's game as a perfect example of what I think United have done brilliantly in terms of reactions. Again today, Nottingham Forest, not a great team, not a bad team, a middle of the table team. They have Anthony Elanga, who we sold this year to Nottingham Forest, who started on the bench, which I think is kind of a low blow. He's definitely good enough to be a starter for Forest, but he wasn't. But the first 4 minutes, the first minute, we're down 1-0. A terrible, terrible corner by United just leaves us way open in the back. Just no defenders in sight. Ball gets flicked on. United's defense is not there. He leaves Rashford chasing back the attacker for Forest, and he gets there, gets a slight toe to the ball. It doesn't fucking matter because the Forest attacker slightly is ahead of him, uses his weight, uses his body, gets in front of him, and slips the ball into the goal within the first minute, and that's game right there. 1-0, 50 seconds into the game, and United down 1-0. So it's like, wow, I'm watching this. Can this get any worse? I said that. 3 minutes later, Nottingham Forest bag a second goal. 2-0, 4 minutes played. Now, I'm raging at this point. I've watched United put a lackluster performance against Wolves. I've watched United do fucking terrible against Tottenham. And now I'm watching United crumble into little tiny pieces like Salt Bay. United are coming out of Salt Bay's hand. 2-0 down against Nottingham Forest in the 4th minute. The 4th freaking minute. What is happening? You just think, this is me, an average United fan. That's what we all felt like. What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? We did see a little bit of a get back for United in this game, which is what I hoped to happen because we were playing freaking Forest. Eriksen getting a goal in the 17th minute, a little cutback ball from Rashford after he finally, and let me say this, finally, we play Rashford on the goddamn left, and guess what happens? He gets to the byline, and we score goals. Rashford on the left is our solution to scoring goals. I don't care, to be honest, I don't care who you got in the striker. I don't care who you got in the right wing. If you put Rashford on the left, there's a high probability of us scoring goals. All right? So today against Nottingham Forest, finally Ten Hag puts him on the left, and in the 17th minute, he gets to the byline after a great move, puts the Forest defender on ice skates, cuts that ball back in. Eriksson there for the tap-in. Goal. Golazo. 2-1. 17th minute. Oh, good shot by Fernandez. Good save. 16th minute. Rashford down. Rashford to the byline. Rashford cuts it back. Eriksson! Que golazo! 16 minutes. Get the ball. There we go. Let's go. Comeback is on. The comeback is on. 2-1. Let's go. Vamos! Yeah, that was peak United football right there. And then, we play a decent end to the first half. Go into the halftime, 2-1 down. Yeah, I bet that halftime speech was electric, especially after the last two terrible performances going into halftime down. You can only question, to be a fly in that locker room today would have been amazing. They come back into the second half, and they look like a team with infused energy, a great freaking goal from the set piece in the second half from United. I'm just going through this goal in my head, Fernandez cross, everyone's thinking it's going to be a cross into a box, but no, it's a cross outside the box to Rashford, who's chilling at the top of the 18, and then nobody clocks the ball player's run. Fernandez clocks back in, Rashford with a little dink ball over the top, Fernandez with a beautiful volley back, well, not a volley, sorry, a beautiful header across the top of the box, straight back to Casemiro, who's just there for this simple tap-in, making it 2-2 in the 50th minute-ish. Big free kick here for Fernandez, 51st minute. To the top of the box to Rashford. What the hell is he doing? Rashford with a chip ball. Fernandez headed. Casse! Let's go! 2-2! Get the fucking ball! Let's go! 2-2! Let's go, Casse! What a freaking free kick set piece. Unbelievable set piece. Fernandez, ball backwards to Rashford, at least 20 yards outside the 18. Nobody follows Fernandez. The chip ball back in the box. Let's go. 2-2. We shouldn't have been never in this position, but we are here. 2-2. Let's get this third freaking goal. Come on. At this point, the United look good. United look like a team infused with energy, looking like they're going to go get that third goal. United press a lot. A couple good shots from Anthony, who, thank God, he's finally starting to perform. And I don't want to jinx that because he is very hit or miss. It's a very hit or miss player, Anthony is. But, United get a couple shots off, a couple great saves by my FPL goalkeeper, Matt Turner, who plays for Forest. Matt Turner had a couple good saves this game, but wasn't strong enough for the penalty Fernandez got in the 76th minute. Rashford again on the left with a great skill move, takes the ball into the byline, just like the first goal, gets absolutely chopped down. Clear as day, a penalty. No VAR. It's simple, it's obvious. Points to the spot. Fernandez steps up. He's a captain. He's a leader of this team. And he scores. United is kind of pressing for that goal. 71st minute now. 70. It's a pen! Let's go! It's a penal! Let's go! Vamos! It's a penal! Here it is. Here comes the penalty. Come on. Big penalty. Penalty from Bruno Fernandes. 75th minute. Let's go! The comeback! Vamos, Fernandes. The comeback is complete. Yes! 3-2. Come on, United. Great penalty by Bruno. You don't save those. Those are in the corner. You don't save those. 3-2, Nottingham Forest are down after a 2-0 lead from Forest. And they blew it away. United, with infused energy into that second half, came back, turned the tides. And I'm not going to say United looked good because they were down 2-0 after 4 minutes. You can't say a team looks good when they're down 2-0 after 4 minutes. That's not a good-looking team, all right? If you're down 2-0, you ain't looking good. But the fact that we were able to restart, get our heads right, come back into this game after the first goal in the first half, and be a team that's reinfused, reunited, and score 2 more goals and come back and win this game 3-2 was, I think, just massive for United. This is the game we needed. This is the reaction we needed. And I'm not saying this was a good performance. It wasn't a good performance at all. But it was a good performance for us to come back from 2-0 down. We shouldn't have to came back from 2-0 down. Both those goals could have been mistakes that never happened. And we could have won this game 3-0. And that would have looked a lot different on paper. But instead, a 3-2 comeback, we'll take it. You can't ignore the red card from Nottingham Forest, which was a clear red. But to be honest, I don't think the red card had much of an impact in this game. Nottingham Forest looked about the same as they did with 9 men as they did with 10. So there's not much you can say other than job well done. Make sure it doesn't happen again. That's what it is. Job well done. Make sure it doesn't happen again. I don't want to be going down 2-0 in the 4th minute. I woke up at 6:30 in the morning, had breakfast, sat down at my desk to watch this game at 7 in the morning, and by 7:05 a.m., I was in the worst mood possible. It's crazy what football can do to you. It's absolutely crazy what football can do to you. The emotions, the passion, and I saw passion from certain individuals today on that United team, and I'm glad that they were able to bounce back and put on a result that led to them coming back and winning the game 3-2. That's all I got to say for this video podcast. This is episode 1 of the YouTube series. Give me a subscribe. Give me this button a like. Maybe comment. See what you want more from me. Let me know if you want game reactions, video footage, clips, pictures. Let me know what you want. And I'll happily, read into your comments. This has been Red Devils Redemption. A big game against Arsenal next weekend. Let's see how we do. Maybe I'll bring back our Arsenal guest. You know how it goes. We'll see. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Vamos United. Let's go Red Devils.